kill to be able to afford a trident.
Jules Goods has a full line of equipment and accessories for all your hectic needs. Thirsty. Packaged food? Check. Neuroamps? Oh yeah. Boost packs? Got those too. Just don't even bother with that other place. Newell's Goods. We have everything.
I'm not gonna say this twice. Get the hell away from me.
I just think I need to go all in. Middle management.
Good for you. Live your best life. We'll be here when you're ready. The Hotel Bowline. Sleep with us. Original.
I do not know about you, but I am starting to suspect that Benjamin Bayou has a slightly inflated. Clearly the intent is to get us into the Astral Lounge. Shall we follow the signs? You know, I tried Aurora once. I did not enjoy the experience. Clover McKenna, at your service. Again! Look, you can tell Mr. Okadibo that I'm doing everything I can. Blood from a stone, if you'll pardon the expression. Oh. I'm afraid I've stepped right into it again. Damn. You aren't here about Mr. Okadibo's debt to Kelkor. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Let me start over. My name's Clover McKenna, but you can call me Chloe. Sorry for me outburst. I'm not sure. I think he's afraid that I won't be here, and he'll have to deal with my father. Someone who has a lot less patience than I do. Just a few weeks ago, he paid some poor fella to come up here and request a bit more time to pay back his debt. So I snapped at you like that. I thought he'd done it again. You're absolutely right. I was very unprofessional. This mess with Mr. Okadibo over at the Neon Mining League has really thrown me off my game. It's a shop over in Akuchi Market. You know, the plaza next to Ryujin Tower? They sell all sorts of mining supplies and raw materials. It's a fine little shop, well stocked and immaculate. Mr. Okadibo is the owner. He's a lovely, lovely man. But his aspirations are one grav jump longer than his business instincts. Normally, yes, but in this case, Mr. Okadibo has put me in a real bind. Mr. Okadibo owes a substantial debt to Keltkor. I've given him more than enough time to try and come up with the money, but my father's patience is running out. Frankly, I don't know how much longer I can stall. Because my father has a ridiculous sense of humor, and I can't stand the name Clover. I mean, seriously, Clover? Our family's Irish, for God's sake. I don't think he could have possibly been more on the nose with that name. Ha ha, very funny, Dad. For now, but let's not mistake my position for what it really is. A test set out by my father. He's set to retire in a few years, and I'm his only next of kin. But I'm guessing he's not sure if I'm ready to take over the company. So he shuttles me out here for two reasons. One, to flash a friendly face for our clients he flies out here as a perk. And two, gets his firebrand of a daughter as far away from him as possible. He's a real piece of work. Niall? Oh, he's the CEO of Keltcorp. The whole blessed thing. If you asked him, he'd claim he started the company with next to nothing and built it into a megacorp in under 30 years. Truth is, he tends to forget the multi-million credit trust he tapped into as a crutch. But that's my father for you. We're a tech company that primarily specializes in mining operations. We handle everything from individual standalone units to fully engineered outpost systems. Basically, if it's made of rock, our gear chews it. Might not be as glamorous as some of the other corps in this building, but it pays the bills. You'd be willing to help out. That's awfully kind of you. Just because I work for a megacorp doesn't mean I don't have a heart. Saburo, Mr. Okadigbo, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, especially in this city. He really needs help, but he's too proud to accept any money from me. Maybe he'd listen to someone like you? That is a rather personal question, and I would prefer we kept things professional, if you don't mind. Oh, that'd be splendid. Just amazing. If you can get his debt off my conscience, I'd be grateful. It's been on my mind so much I've been keeping a diary. And don't worry about payment. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. McKenna always keeps that promise. When he opened the shop, he outfitted it with equipment from our company. Spent a bundle of cash he didn't have. Obviously, business hasn't been going well, because he's fallen way behind on his payments. Opening a mining business on a world almost entirely covered in ocean probably wasn't the most savvy of business plans. I suppose he intended to cater to travelers that were passing through our system. But it's clearly backfired. A poor man. Have a fine day.
Are you gonna let... Unless this is about mass purchasing some mining equipment, I'm far too busy to stop and chat.
I never had the patience for computer systems.
Imogene's a stickler for details.
Well, look who survived their first assignment. How'd it go? Anything to report?
I know what you mean, but that's your missing piece, right?
A fair question. We may have plenty of eyes and ears out there, but I'm still going to need an answer. If you think you have any power of negotiating your pay, think again. Besides, payment is based off performance, so let's hear it. How'd that first job go? Not a single setback. Huh. I knew you were going to be perfect for this job. If you recall, setbacks mean a lot of things for a lot of people. Payoffs, cover stories, cleanup crews. You get my drift. The cleaner your work, the more intact your payments stay. I'm sure you understand. And I hope it stays that way. In the meantime, I'll make sure that slate is properly disposed of. So, now that we know you're capable of handling some light cyber mischief, let's try your hand at a little framing. And I'd argue that arts and crafts is exactly what we do here, just on a much higher level. One of our subsidiaries, Arboron, is currently competing for a contract against Laredo. Now, the buyer likes to keep their associations clean, and will be sending a representative to Laredo in Aquila City for an evaluation. We just need you to visit their office first and accidentally leave behind some incriminating evidence against their company. We want a clean and careful job. Obviously, we don't want any bad press at this point, or we could lose the deal. I don't want to hear any news about bounties or bodies coming out of Aquila City. The inspection will be similar to an audit. These things are usually pretty thorough. Filing cabinets, desks. I trust you can be smart about it. Oh, the best part is we don't even have to fabricate this information. We're just exposing what Laredo would rather keep hidden. Here's the slate we need you to plant. It holds confidential files that'll cast the perfect negative light on our friends at Laredo. Now, get going.
Good day, Captain.
Well, hello, sunshine. All right, let's see what's out there.
Ranger?
If my shift goes long again, my girl is gonna kill me.
Be very difficult
Lucy can't be that
with the native wildlife being what it is.
So we had to clean up the graffiti on the range again. Why don't we just close it down? It's not like it gets much use.
I need someplace to put the prototypes through their paces. It stays.
But you know Stretch Trash will come back and loiter. Or worse.
Let them. A few beer bottles and graffiti is the least we owe them.
Yes, Miss Lance.
I think you'll find that we carry fine weapons of all kinds here. Indeed. As a matter of fact, they're made in this very building. You're standing in the storefront of the Laredo Firearms Factory. I designed and manufactured every firearm for sale here. As such, I can offer you my personal assurance they're of the highest quality. When a CEO distances herself from the customers, her decision-making suffers. Here I get to see what matters, what sells, what doesn't, and why. It's invaluable. Plus, it's better than the endless meetings. Let's get you set up.
I was hoping you'd show up soon. Is it done? If you've got some morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you. And the truth is, in this industry, this is about as fair as it gets. Laredo is far from squeaky clean, and believe me, we've got our own eyes out for their moves as well. Now, I think it's time to examine a different set of skills. We expect our employees to self-manage when it comes to breaks. I recommend taking a moment whenever you feel that stress may be getting the better of you. Just be mindful of your time. This job requires a clear head. It's a decent start, but we'll see. Your next assignment is to find a security chief and use some creative thinking to obtain their security keycard. And when I say creative, I don't mean with a weapon. Either look the part and be persuasive, or be quick with your hands. A security chief isn't going to give the time of day to just anybody. A nice suit should do the trick. Or, who knows, some operatives are known to have a security guard uniform or two in their closet they can rely on. Just be careful. Getting caught could mean a mess, and cleanup isn't cheap. We just need some easy access to competitor security. Sometimes obtaining a legitimate form of access is preferred over brute forcing it. No corporation wears murder well around here. We may take some extreme measures, but the less mess, the better. Now, if you need to find yourself a hobby outside of work, to do that, feel free. Just don't let anyone here know about it. I'm sure you'll be able to get that keycard without incident. Just remember, if anything does happen, it's up to you to bail yourself out.
Not sure if balloon sellects live in space or got separated from their home planet or what, but they scavenge what they need. Lots of old facilities left over from the colony war, and they like to pick up clean.
No Aurora outside city limits. Got it. New around here? Make certain you familiarize yourself with our rules and regulations regarding the transport of Aurora. After all, you don't want to end up like Nishar, do you? Then you're going to have a very unpleasant visit here. Now, listen up. First and foremost, the interplanetary transport of Aurora is strictly forbidden. Anyone caught transporting the substance through this checkpoint will be arrested, fined, and jailed, if necessary. You are free to carry and use Aurora anywhere within the city limits, yes. On my list of excuses for attempting to transport Aurora, that ranks a close third to I forgot that I had any on me, and I am holding it for a friend. The other regulation you should be aware of is that Aurora is only available for purchase in the Astral Lounge. Buying it from any other business or a street dealer is illegal. You will be arrested, fined, and jailed for participating in such a transaction. You can find it inside the trade tower. Take the elevators up to the terminal building and head across Bayou Plaza. You can't miss it. I am informing you of this information as a courtesy. In my opinion, you should be a bit more appreciative. All right then, that's it. If you have any additional questions, let me know. Otherwise, keep your nose clean and move along. Volii Alpha has a unique agreement with the Freestar Collective. We allow their ships to patrol the spaceways, and Neon Security maintains the peace within Neon itself. The only exception is the Freestar Ranger outpost located in the city, but Ranger Price fully cooperates with our department. Lousy? The hell are you talking about? Outside of work in the Astro Lounge, this is one of the most secure jobs you can get. Do you have any idea how many people get turned away from Neon Security? How about half the damn platform? No, I'm one of the lucky ones. Spend some time in Ebside and you'll see what I mean. Worst part of Neon. Basically, it's the outer perimeter of the entire platform. We're talking poverty, drug dealers, lowlives, and gangs. It's not worth a visit. If you want to enjoy your visit, stick to the safer parts of town. Aurora is the #1 product produced by Xenofresh Fisheries, the company that originally founded what is now called Neon. Clinical studies sponsored by Xenofresh have proven that using Aurora has no long-term negative health effects, and so it was approved for public use. And before you ask, yes, this was also approved by the Freestar Collective, as long as Aurora stays within the city limits. Stay safe.
Hello. You do not need to ask me if you may ask. You may just ask. I am not surprised you have questions. It is not for the faint of heart, I assure you. To know what the future will bring, what will be not just your fate, but that of all those around you. And yet to have no choice but to keep that to yourself. It is a challenge. But as I have told you, it also fills me with purpose. And that purpose is what guides me and drives me. You might as well just ask me to explain the universe. Here is what I can tell you. The Great Serpent revealed himself to Jinan Barun decades ago. He explained that it was he who had created this galaxy and breathed life into it. And while he had slumbered after his creation, he would return soon. And when he did, those who had served him in his stead would be rewarded, while the rest were cast into shadow. And so for generations, we have prepared for his return. That is not for me to decide. If the High Council summons me home, I will go. Until then, I will perform whatever tasks they ask of me. I am human. Of course it bothers me. But I have a mission. And my mission helps preserve the lives and safety of my people. That is more important than my personal feelings.
For all that I have seen and experienced, I have never been as afraid as the day Sarah and Vladimir confronted me. But they agreed to keep my secret, and they have held true to their word. That surprised me, but also gave me some amount of comfort. I know that most would not react the same. House Varun is still widely hated in the settled systems, and that sentiment will not change anytime soon. It is, after all, much of the reason I was sent here in the first place. You know, of course, of our tumultuous history with the people of the settled systems. Few have forgiven the Serpent's crusade. The High Council worries that many would still plot to wipe us out completely. And so we watch. We look for warning signs and we send word back. And it does not help that we are unfortunately still dependent on supplies. Life on the edge of the settled systems is difficult, and no one will formally trade with us. So agents also help oversee deals with smugglers and the operations needed to transport supplies back home.
Lifting off now. Digital insertion completed.
You ever check out the prices at Trident? You could buy like a fleet of Hope-Tech ships. Ron Hope knows his stuff.
Our motto is, "They're trucks in space." Really, you need to hear Mr. Hope say it. Do you need anything? Miss Anaya can take care of you. She's to my left on this floor.
Don't even think about trying anything. You sure you belong here?
Hey, keep your nose clean. Last thing I want is to charge you for a DP, an A&B, B&E, or, heaven forbid, an MS. But at least then, you don't have to worry about the DOP.
I think of security the same way too, but don't let Dalton know I said that. Overall, not bad for a novice. I think you're ready to kick things up a notch, and your timing couldn't be better.
We'll soon find out, won't we? This next assignment requires a bit more discretion for 2 reasons. First, you'll be dealing with high-level executives, and second, you'll be in the Astra Lounge here in Neon. I suspect a great many things could occur in the Astra Lounge without anyone taking notice.
If you haven't already heard the name Benjamin Bayou, you'd better get familiar. The man runs Neon and has ties to anything significant here, including Ryujin. The trade tower is his baby, and the Astra Lounge is the heart and soul. You do anything to scar that and make a scene, I guarantee it'll come back to haunt us. I figured you could put those negotiation skills you mentioned to good use. Our techs failed to uncover a potential deal between Infinity Ltd and Quantum Synergies. Your job is to make sure that deal fails. It's already been taken care of. All you need to worry about is the job at hand. You'll be speaking with Quantum Synergy's Executive Director Zola Adisa and their Financial Manager Arthur Cruz. I'll be giving you a dossier on both. I strongly suggest you read them for talking points. I suppose I can give you a brief rundown. We'll start with Zola. Zola is a born and bred executive. It runs in the family, so she's highly accustomed to an upper-class lifestyle. She's a narcissist who's also obsessed with public perception, both of her and Quantum Synergies. She wants to be associated with the latest and greatest, so she's drawn to innovation and quality. She's considered it, but she's next in line to be CEO over at Quantum. If she came here, she'd have to deal with stiff competition. As for her talking points, the key things to remember are, Infinity is the cheap version of Ryujin. They're a follower, not a leader, and they lack any sense of clear vision. Infinity Ltd's strategy to make money is to cut cost on quality. You can compare any one of our products to theirs and see it almost instantly. Low-grade synthetics, flimsy thin materials, high energy usage, they issue at least 1 or 2 recalls a year. Companies like Ryujin set. If they can't make money off ingenuity, they can certainly sell someone a cheaper version of a more expensive product they may want. Infinity has struggled with leadership and turnover for a long time now. Lucas Drexler is probably the 5th CEO they've had in the past few years. Plus, it's hard to keep good employees when much better corporations who will pay more are out there. Just remember, you can refer to the dossier at any time as a refresher. Now, on to Arthur Cruz. Arthur is a self-made man, and he prides himself on that. He's a full package, having both an extremely good knack for numbers and knowing how to talk to people. As Quantum Synergy's financial manager, he's all about driving profit with as little risk as possible. He makes decisions based on facts and heavily researched trends. It sounds like the two of you could really hit it off. Arthur's a great talker, but even the best can lose an audience when finance is the topic. Talking points for Arthur are aimed at steering him toward Ryujin over Infinity Ltd. Ryujin's profits are 25.7% higher than Infinity's, even with a superior quality product. Infinity's profits are fabricated. They're one audit away from ruin. We have a history of being financially secure that's never wavered, and we have the legal and marketing teams to handle anything that might threaten that. We keep an extremely close eye on our competition. Thanks to operatives like you, that information is almost always at our disposal. Quantum Synergies is the top name in ship OS. Their reputation has allowed them to keep the best engineers on their payroll. We can't deny that working with them would be beneficial for us, and Arthur is our best bet in making that happen. Besides, an open collaboration gives us easier access to information we'd otherwise have to find a more clever means of discovering. Sounds like you're ready then. I'd still highly recommend reading the dossiers, though. Sometimes bullet-pointed statements can stick out in minds easier than conversation. Exactly. Those lines are most likely to sway Zola and Arthur away from Infinity, not to mention give them a gentle nudge in our direction. The Infinity Ltd rep is Nina Hart. I'll also be giving you an altered version of her presentation to swap out with the original. We've changed several figures, just enough to cause sufficient confusion throughout their meeting. We got lucky on that one. Nina was making some last-minute changes to it at her own home and happened to save it to her personal data storage. Of course, we were able to access it, so we fabricated our own with new figures and put it on an Infinity Ltd slate. Assuming she's using an Infinity Ltd slate is a bit of a gamble, but one we're willing to take. If it's not on her person, it will be in the suite she has reserved. Suites are patrolled, so she'll believe it's secure. If you can't manage to get her room key or deal with the door itself, try Boone Morgan, the manager. Boone appreciates credits, if you know what I mean. Exactly. And that incompetence will be enough for them to further question this deal. Finally, I recommend dressing appropriately, so I've taken the liberty of having a suit made for you. We need absolute discretion on this one. I don't want any SSNN broadcasts about murder in the Astral Lounge. Got it? If you think you can do better, you're welcome to it. I suppose I can even provide you with a small allowance. Just keep in mind, business attire is preferred, club attire would be second to help blend in. Business executives aren't going to take advice from just anyone. Show up looking like an Ebbside street rat or mercenary for hire, and you're lucky if they'll even acknowledge you. Just don't let that confidence give you a false sense of security. And remember, no incidents.
Watch your back out there.
We're fully stocked on supplies today. Welcome to Newell's. Let me know if you need help with anything. Oh my, do I? That's awful. I should be taking better care of my customers. You'll have to excuse me. With all the ruckus my husband's been making at the Merchant Alliance meetings, it's difficult to get any rest. Poor old man has himself mixed up in a foolish crusade against Dietrich Sieghart, who he's angry at for paying off Neon security. It's a little group James formed, with some of the other vendors on Neon. I'd call it more of a support group, because all they do is sit around and complain about how hard it is to run a business here. For protection, I assume. They apparently target certain businesses with some type of safety assurance fee scheme. We've been spared that indignity so far, but it's absolutely disgraceful this kind of thing is happening. He runs Sieghart's Outfitters. It's right outside the spaceport terminal. I suppose you could say he's our only real competition. If you ask me, he isn't such a terrible person. Please don't tell James I said that. I don't believe he is, no. I think my husband has Dietrich all wrong. He's probably doing what he has to do to survive. Just, please don't tell James I said that. I don't want him to think his own wife is doubting him. I have no idea. Anytime the subject comes up, it turns into an argument. Frankly, he's so obsessed with this Dietrich situation, I don't think he's listening to me at all. It's just a feeling that I have about Dietrich. I'm sure he's paying off Neon security because he has no choice. He can't afford to fight back like my husband expects. Well, thank you. I can't remember the last time a total stranger walked into our store and offered to help. It would be so lovely to see my James happy again. He used to smile at me all the time, you know. Now all I see is worry on his face. I suppose you can speak with him about it if you like. But perhaps you'd like to browse our store a bit before you do?